How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we're taking a look at how I was able to get over 43,000 capital peak points in this last raid weekend. And we even have a Golem Quarry one-shot in the middle of the video, so make sure to take a look at that. Very, very fun and very surprising ending. So, first we're taking a look at a Barbarian Camp cleanup. Now, I kind of forgot that I was going to go for first hit, so I'm just going to quickly show this one. Just using the air version of the graveyard spam strategy. Only real difference now is that we bring in one of the freeze spell or frost spells instead of an additional graveyard and a zap spell. Seems to work out a little bit better, so we're able to get a few more extra points, but we are able to get a massive amount of points from cleaning up barbarian camps. 7,405 plus an additional 228. So now we're going to be looking at first hits when using the mass miner attack strategy. So of course, one of the best districts to hit, surprisingly, with the miners is the Dragon Cliffs. With the frost spells, the super dragons really cannot even target onto the miners, and then before they're able to get their breath ability off, the miners are able to go underground and dodge the attack. Unfortunately, we do get one miner gets taken down to 2/3 health by one of the super dragons, but we are going up against a non-standard layout, so you never know what's going to happen. Typically on the default layout, it's really good to come in from the right hand side with a couple of frost spells, trying to get the dragons in those spells to delay their attacks. And then sometimes you can get lucky and only one or two miners will get hit by the bomb tower and take it out. Otherwise, in this case, all of our miners land on top of the bomb tower and they all get taken. Big hit by that explosion damage. So now it's just a matter of how many miners do you have left? How many of them go onto the same building at the same time? If you are lucky enough, you'll have usually 3 or 4 miners for each of the buildings. And then they can very quickly destroy the building, move on to the next, move on to the next, and so on and so forth, and they can continue dodging the super dragon attacks. Now this is sort of the dangerous area in this left-hand, top left side of the base. A lot of the super dragons will bunch up, and if you don't have enough miners, it can be pretty devastating. So we do create some distance between the super dragons, so now we can actually spend a little bit more time. But we only have one more miner left. The explosion damage on 2 more buildings, and we get 7,675. So not bad for a first hit. Don't get any of the bonus loot, but that is alright. So now we're trying out the Goblin Mine, the newest district into the clan capital. We're trying to see how the miners perform. We are starting to go up against a little bit higher upgraded Goblin Mines, so used to be able to not even one-shot the Goblin Mines even while they were building things, just because the goblin launchers spawning all of those goblins, it would take up so much time for the miners to take them out that usually you would time fail. But now that everything is being upgraded, we've got some higher level defenses. You can see now the miners do tend to struggle quite a bit. Tried bringing in a couple of the super wizards to help clear out the goblins, doesn't exactly work out, so I think going forward, I'm not going to be hitting goblin mines with the miners, at least trying to go for points anymore, because you used to be able to usually get around like 6,000 or 7,000, sometimes 8,000, but here we can see we only get 4,500, so not that great. However, this is the glorious one-shot I was talking about. So what I like to do is use the frost spells in this back compartment that's shielded by the mountain rock area. There's a lot of high value buildings that we want to stop over there. And then I like to frost the rock artillery and the blast bow and crusher. So then I send in 2 miners, sometimes 3, to take out some of the trash buildings on the left hand side, hoping that some of the miners will go in for the blast bow and the rock artillery. And then if the blast bow is down here at the bottom of the base, I will start the other big pack of miners, usually around 6 or 7, on that blast bow to try and dodge all that splash damage entirely. So now it comes down to a little bit of luck with this rock artillery, depending on what level it is, and depending on how many miners you have going through the base. if they're able to dodge a lot of the rocket artillery hits, you will be doing pretty good. Similarly, you have to sort of get lucky here. You may get a split. So here we had one miner go off, not the end of the world, but if you have a bunch of miners go off and they get stuck on these single target defenses, can be a problem because that blast bill will be real nasty. Here we get even more lucky where we have most of our troops going for this portion of the base on the left hand side, and then a couple miners had split off and took out that blast bill. So one of the big threats is the multi-cannon on that right hand side of the base. So they are going to die out to this second multi-cannon, but they will get a good death damage explosion. So we are running pretty low on miners, but there's not a whole lot of the base left. As we can see, there's only this right hand section and just a few point defenses. So if we get lucky enough, the crusher won't deal too much damage to our miners. We're seeing they're spinning, and we did get one that died, so it got the explosion damage off before the crusher went down and did that splash damage to all the miners. So when I was looking at this again, and pretty much I think a more efficient way is to drop one of the miners, send in one giant to tank for these 3 point defenses, and then send in one skeleton barrel across, so skeletons can actually take out all of these point defenses. They will eventually die out to the multi-mortar, but we do get very, very lucky here. And as we zoom in, we can see we've got 2 miners left. One goes down, takes out the cannon. Got 1 miner left and 2 level 1 defenses. That last shot just barely didn't get there in time. Then that second shot, boom. The miner and the cannon died at the same time. We have the glorious 100% one shot, 9,650 in one attack. That is crazy. So you can definitely sometimes one shot the Dragon Cliffs if it's the default layout. With miners, you can definitely one shot the Golem Quarry on the default layout. And then you can even sometimes one shot some of the Balloon Lagoons with the miners. Just absolutely insane. So here we're going up against the Builder's Workshop, trying to see how far we can get. This is the default layout, so I've tried coming in from the right hand side, it works out pretty well. I wanted to try out coming in from the left hand side, working clockwise around the base. And it seems to not do as well for whatever reason. I don't know if it's the weird split that happens here in the middle of the base, where a lot of the miners, they die out to the blast bow. But on the right hand side, it seems like everything sort of stays together, follows the trail, ends up on this compartment up top, and then they all go over to the blast bow on the left hand side. So not the greatest, but we still got 6,500 points, so I'm happy with that, and I will take it. So last up on the list is going up against the Skeleton Park, bringing in a little bit of a specialized armory. I'm going to try and take out this top section with one of the minions. We're going to try and set it up so we have a couple of miners going in on the top side, and then a couple of other miners going in on the bottom side. I'm holding on to one miner because I want to make sure that this Tesla and this hut get taken out, because a lot of times the miners will go into the core of the base and don't ever go up there. So we can see we've got one of our other packs going down south, doing pretty good, getting in range of the rock artillery shots. Not the greatest, so we're going to try and reset it. Now the miners are on the rock artillery, so no big deal. And as I suspected, none of the miners went for this building. None of them popped the Tesla. So we're going to directly target that. This miner gets slammed right off the bat with all those bombs and takes 2 of the Tesla shots, so already down to half health. Maybe not the best value in the world, might bring something else to try and help that along, but we did 1 ram, 1 barbarian, take out the wizard tower and the air defense. So now we can bring in 1 pack of minions, and a couple of the minions that are on this left hand side, they will eventually be able to target this giant cannon, so you can get a lot of points doing it that way. So as we're looking down, all of the miners have passed away, just those few minions remaining. They do get taken out by the reflector, so get a little bit more points than normal, just about 7,000. Otherwise, there is a P.E.K.K.A strategy that works pretty well for the Skeleton Park. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Definitely helps out grow the channel a lot. I enjoy it a lot as well. Make sure to comment down below if you have any questions. And there are a couple more videos on the screen if you want to keep on watching. Until next time, take care.